Joining me this week on the Back in the Day podcast is the hilarious stand-up comedian Emily Grefer. Emily is quickly moving her way up the ranks in the comedy scene here in Dallas and also working the road a lot. You can catch her in Waco at the end of July, July 30th and July 31st at Slapsticks Comedy Club in Waco. That's a brand new comedy club out in Waco, so if you live in that area, make sure you go see her. And you can also see her at Hyenas Comedy Nightclub in Fort Worth, August 24th. So make sure you guys check her out. I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Hey, are you talking about back in the day?
Nah, man. I'm talking about back in the day.
Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day.
Joining me on the Back in the Day podcast today is the hilarious Emily Grefer. How are you today, Emily?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Michael.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been seeing you out there. You're hitting the road a lot lately, huh?
I'm trying to, yeah.
How has that been, that transition of going from doing like shows locally to now? Because where all have you been going?
I've been in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, Wichita, Lowell, Arkansas, and then like Houston, and I'm going to Austin at the end of the month.
Where are you going to be at in Austin?
I'm going to be at Creek in the Cave.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm doing one night down there and just checking out the scene because I've yet to be down there since the big boom.
Yeah.
With comedy.
How have you liked hitting the road? Because were you doing like road, like one-nighters at all before you started doing the different clubs?
No, so actually how it worked is that I drove up to the Looney Bins and auditioned for the manager Terry at the OKC Looney Bin. And then 2 months later, she booked me for a weekend. So all my road work, all my experience has been on weekends.
Okay,
like,
so
fully.
you haven't really, have you not done the one-nighters on the road that much?
I did one like a year in, and I haven't done another one-nighter since.
Where did you do the one at?
It was at some bar in like Durant, Oklahoma.
Was it Stagecoach?
Yeah, it was Stagecoach.
Yeah.
That's where it was. Yes. Oh my gosh. So you've done that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
did it, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's probably when I was doing it too, because I've been doing comedy 3.5 years. So that would make sense. Okay.
It was like Meth Head Central for my show.
Was the only main attraction of that place was Chicken Express. That was
there one near there?
Yeah, it was like 5 miles down the road if you count near.
So
yeah.
that's that part of Oklahoma is, I mean, it's basically right on the border. It's Lake Texoma essentially. And that town, one of my good friends his family has a lake house like 5 minutes from there that we used to go to all the time in high school and college. And that Stagecoach is like it used to be like a bar where it was like we would go, like we actually went to that place all the time when we would go in town, and it was just trashy as all get out. So doing comedy there was very interesting for me.
Yeah, and the stage wasn't stable. Like you could feel the boards moving around. So the whole time when I was doing it, I felt like I was going to like fall through the floor. And I was just like this. Yeah, I get why this bar shut down.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
A very interesting spot. I like that was your first experience with shows not in DFW.
Yeah, I hadn't done anything before that, so
that's normally the type of road stuff that I do.
Really, is one nights?
Yeah, or in these places that you're like, I didn't know this was a city, I didn't know this was a town, why am I here? Like, it's gonna be real risky me getting out of here.
Yeah, as a woman, I try not to take too many of those, especially if I'm the only one that I know booked on it, because driving into those places at night by myself isn't the safest thing.
No, I can understand that completely. Well, because sometimes I'll do this. A lot of times when I'm doing stuff on the road, I want to make it to where it's somewhere I can get there and back on the same day.
Yeah.
If possible, instead of taking up the entire weekend.
Well, and they're just not paying you enough for a hotel room. Just to be frank, they're not.
At all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not the Stagecoach doesn't put out enough money for you to stay at the Ramada Inn or wherever they have.
I think I got like $25,
really?
Something like that. It was crazy low. Yeah.
I don't think the guy that was booking it had any type of formula of how he was doing stuff, because he gave me like a chunk of cash, like he told me before. I mean, like 2 days beforehand. he was like, basically, I need the show to be this long, and this is how much money I'll give you, and you just hit up other comics and make the show that long, and then you can pay them what you want.
Wow,
and so I was like, okay.
Now I'm wondering what you paid them. I'm gonna go back to your Facebook and find out.
Okay. It was decent. It wasn't like terrible.
Oh, well,
terrible.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, how you said you've been doing comedy for about 3.5 years?
Yeah.
What was the road that kind of led you to do that? Like, what were you doing before comedy?
Honestly, before comedy, I was just working like menial jobs that I didn't really give a crap about, and that I was doing a lot of like office admin work, and I was very uninspired, and I was in a relationship where I wasn't happy, and so I would just like go home every night and watch stand up for like hours and hours, and just, I mean, I told my parents when I was like a kid I wanted to be a stand up, but they're like, like, because they're like doctors and lawyers and like academia, and like there's clear plans like for how to get into those careers, but like stand up doesn't have that. So I like put that to the side and started doing jobs that like I thought other people
might lead to that or whatever.
No, it's just like I was trying to live to make everyone else happy, and I was so unhappy in that the only thing when I would come home at night and like watch would make me happy. And the older I got, I was just like, I need to do this, otherwise I'm gonna like not I'm gonna regret it. Like not if I don't try. So that's really what I would do.
Did you do anything growing up that was like performance arts at all? Like,
no, not at all. My family is big. Travis knows this, the audio visual guy over there. You guys can't. If the video comes out, you guys maybe see him later. But no, I didn't. I just have a big family. I have 6 siblings, and my parents just frankly didn't have the time for all of us to do all that. No,
so
we didn't.
What did you do in school? Like, did you do any extracurriculars at all?
No.
Sports, nothing?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so what was like a day in a life of you growing up? Like just going to school, coming back?
Yeah, and then I was like a latchkey kid. I would like play around with like the neighborhood kids and then do my homework and just like fuck off, watch TV. Like just like latchkey kid stuff.
Okay.
Like make my own food in the microwave. Like that's really what I was doing.
So not like one extracurricular at all?
I played basketball when I was in 5th grade.
And
For
that's
one
it?
year.
For 1 year,
Yeah,
just
for 1
basketball?
year. Yeah.
Man, that upsets
That upsets you?
me for some
Why?
reason. I don't know. I just want to like I like knowing like I like hearing the stories of like what people did growing up. So, okay. So you didn't do it. Were you in school? Like you said you wanted to do comedy. So like did you
Sure.
have like in your friend group were you like the funny one? Were you kind of quiet? I feel like there's 2 types of people that end up becoming comics. There's some that like all of their friends knew they were going to be a comedian. Like whenever they're with people, they're funny. And then there's others that just kind of sit back. And they're only funny with like that one friend because they're actually really hysterical and they just observe everything.
No, I was definitely like that friend amongst my friends that was the funny one because I moved around a lot. So it's like that's how I knew to get friends, was to try to make people laugh and to get them to like me. So it's like I would always move over and start over in like different states. So I would just try to be funny to get people to be my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like sounds sad, but it's the truth.
I did
like,
the same thing too. Like,
Yeah.
like I always knew no matter what, like if it was in a class and like maybe I didn't know anyone, I was like, well, I know that I can get people to talk to me because I'll just be funny for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll like me for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What did, you said you moved to a lot of different states. Where all did you live?
So I was born in Phoenix, and then I moved to Northern California, like the Bay Area, like Dublin, Pleasanton area. And then I moved to Canton, Ohio. And then I moved to Northern Kentucky. And then I moved to Texas.
And did you graduate from a high school in Texas?
Yeah. So I graduated from high school at Wakeland in Frisco, actually.
Oh, you're from the Frisco area.
Yeah. So
what year did you graduate?
2010.
Okay, you're a lot younger than me. Oh, I graduated 2004.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not from Frisco. I graduated from Hebron, if you know where that's at.
I know where Hebron's at, yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in Frisco.
I feel bad when you say that, like, oh, you didn't do anything growing up. I should preface, I've been playing poker for 17 years. I've been, like, I grew up, and, like, my parents taught me Texas Hold'em when I was 12.
Okay.
So we would play every weekend with my family.
Did you play? Did y'all play for money?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's illegal, but we did it. And, yeah, I played for money. I play in groups. I played online, like...
Was that a thing? Okay, so was your group of friends, did y'all play poker a lot? Because I remember, okay, so you're 6 years younger than me, and that's, you said at 12 is when you learned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say that my senior year and then my freshman year and sophomore year of college, which would my senior year you would have been 12. I would have been 18, right? So yeah, so you would have been 12. So the same time frame. We were playing poker constantly.
There was some weird boom. I don't know what it was, but like the new thing to do was to play Texas Hold'em, but like you're playing with like your friends and family, so you weren't winning a lot of money unless they had a lot of money. And so no, my friends didn't really play poker. They were like, I was mainly friends with girls, and they were doing other things, and I would just play with my family and some of my cousins and those types of things.
Did y'all do, when you would play poker, where you would like switch who was the dealer?
Yeah, absolutely. We do that with each hand. Okay. Yeah.
So that was always real stressful for me because I can't shuffle.
I can't shuffle either. Okay, I've never been able to shuffle. I'm always like,
when it was the time where it was like my time to be the dealer, I was just all like, flipping in. So finally I bought like an automatic shuffle.
Oh, you did?
That's how unpopular poker was.
Yeah.
So everyone would be shuffling and I would just push a button when it was my turn.
I would hand out cards like I was a bank teller, like one by one, like trying to make sure. And they were like, Emily, can you hurry up? And I'm like, oh, I promise.
But yeah, okay. So poker, do you still play poker now?
Yeah. I still play poker now. I play online just to like keep myself sharp. Mm-hmm. But and then I don't know if you knew this, but MIT has an undergraduate course for poker.
Oh, really?
And they publish all of their undergraduate coursework online for free. So I actually just have their coursework and I like review their coursework. And then when I have the opportunity, I'll play with groups of people in person. I prefer in person. I like playing off the tilt. But I mean,
I don't even know what off the tilt means.
It's like the emotional tilt of your opponent. Yeah.
I was like, thinking back, I was like, have I ever heard anyone say off the tilt?
Yeah, I like that.
You're a lot deeper into poker than I ever was. Have you have you gone and like played like big tournaments at all?
No, I don't have that kind of money. Most of those people are sponsored. So it's like they have like, you know, when you see the bracelets on people's wrists from like the tournaments they've won, they'll have like their sponsors on their collars. You know that from like watching, but like I don't have sponsors. Okay. I never played competitively like that. I just played because I enjoyed it.
I didn't know if maybe like you ever went like every now and then you remember there will always be like random bars that will have like a poker night and then it's like a couple $1,000s as the winner.
Yeah, I was never old enough to participate when I lived in states that could do that. And I know Texas doesn't let you do that. They have illegal ones, but like...
I mean, no one's listening to this.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. No one is listening to this podcast.
So, well, that's cool. So poker and then 5th grade basketball.
Yeah.
Did you ever like get into like pickup basketball at all?
No. I was so awkward, so bad at dribbling. So, I mean, I can palm a basketball. My hands are big enough to do that. That's the only cool thing I can do with basketball. I can't play well. I can hardly shoot. It was just something to get involved in, I guess.
So after high school, let's talk about high school. Did you like high school?
So I lived in Kentucky for my freshman and sophomore year, and then I moved to Frisco for my junior and senior year. Freshman, sophomore year, I didn't really like because I was really like introverted, but like I still had a core group, but I was still super shy. And then when I moved to Frisco, I had to be like very outgoing because the school was huge and I wanted to make friends. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed my junior and senior year more because I had to, like, because I didn't have that like core group that I had lived in with Kentucky for a couple of years.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting for you to say like that the school at Frisco was so big.
Yeah.
Because I know that's like what Frisco like tries to pride themselves on is that their schools are small.
No, our school was like 1,500 people, I think.
Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, it was a bigger,
like relatively, because like that's why there's 19,000 Frisco high schools.
Yeah, right.
It's because they're trying to keep them all at that like 1,500, 2,000 instead of having these like 5,000.
Yeah.
How big was your school in Kentucky?
It was smaller. It was probably, I would imagine, less than 800. So it was like about half.
Yeah, so that's going to seem like a huge school when you get there.
Yeah.
So after Frisco, after high school, what did you do after that? Did you do like the route of like that everyone tells you to do? You have to go to college and all that stuff?
Yeah, I tried to go to community college and I hated it. I majored in creative writing, which, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And so I dropped off after a year. So I never finished community college, and then I just started working like admin type jobs because my mom had known people who like worked at other medical offices and things like that. And I mean, admin is pretty easy, like just once you get the hang of how the practice is run. so it wasn't difficult to do. And that's what I did for a couple years, and then I got into stand-up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So you said you were in college for a year? Did you go to Collin County?
Yeah, I went to community college, and community college, it was just really weird. It was just high school 2.0, but it wasn't like any of the people you liked from high school. And I was just like, that's really what it was. And I'm not disparaging people who go to community college because I get why they do.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy community college.
Well, I can imagine that community college in the town that you grew up in or, are from.
Yeah.
That it's a lot different. Like, I went to a junior college from my first 2 years, too, but I went away. It was in West Texas.
Yeah.
And I just remember it just being such this weird dynamic because you have, like, 2/3 of the class, it's people your age.
Sure.
And then there's, like, 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they are taking it way too seriously.
I know. I'm like, I get it. This is your second chance at life. This is your midlife crisis. Like, you got to change your career paths. I totally get that. But some of them were like so intense. And I'm like, you were a loser in high school too.
Well, I don't even really understand it. Sorry to anyone that might listen to this. That
I'm not
went to
sorry.
Okay. At 50. I don't understand what the game plan is because you're going to go to school for another 3 years, 4 years or whatever. And then is it to get an entry level job at 50 something years old?
I guess. I mean, I don't see, unless they have some like very narrow field that they're really trying to get into, I could see why you would do it. But at this point, I don't see why you would take on the debt.
Me neither.
I'm like,
or just the headache of it.
I know.
Maybe it was a dream of wanting to actually accomplish it. Like because the junior college that I went to, there was this one lady. I know her name, but I'm not gonna say her name. Her name was Connie Wells. And she was really into, like, obsessed with classes, and she would always make the class go longer because she would ask questions at the end of it, and we, because in college
she was that person.
Yeah. College will just end the class if they're done. It's not like high school where you got to wait till a certain time. And she would always end it, and I was always like, "Why are you here? Like, what's the goal here? You're as old as like my parents. Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's companies like lining up being like, you know what we need is 55-year-olds for this entry level position that we're not going to pay them anything.
Right. My favorite stories are the ones where it's like an 89-year-old person, like a man or a woman, and they like graduate from like a major university, and their whole thing is like, before I died, I wanted to get this degree. I wanted to prove to whoever that I could get this. And I'm like, I love that because you are 89, you got a college degree, you got the student loan debt, and now you're going to die. You are going to leave that with your family just to say you did it.
Surely that's not transferable. Like, surely, like, you don't have to pay for grandma's student loans. I would think that just dies with you.
I don't know. I know student loans are the only debt you can't file bankruptcy on. And I thought they did carry with you because Taylor Tomlinson talks on a podcast about how her mother passed away, and because her father married her and she had all this student loan debt, he still had to pay off her student loans even though she had passed away. Because he married her, he like signed on for that debt. And I was like, I mean, she's dead. It's not like he's using her degree. Like, I don't.
That's insane.
It is insane. It's a scam.
Yeah.
College is a scam.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
I got on I already shit on the public education school system.
Hell yeah.
Like 3 episodes ago. Like, I mean, I'm talking for like 25 minutes and I called teachers out that I had in high school by name. So I don't know if I want
I like that Biggie style. You like tell the teachers who said I wouldn't be shit. I'm running my own podcast.
55 down. Like, like, it's like how you like me now, so-and-so teacher. But no, like, college is kind of, it's not a scam if you are getting like an accounting degree,
sure,
or like an engineering degree or something that's very generic. But if you have like a theater degree like I do, like, it's 100% a scam. No one needs to go do that. Everything's a scam, all the way down to like the parking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I went to OU, and I graduated in at December. Okay. And so parking was like $350 for the year. Like you had to get a parking pass. And I was like, well, I'm graduating at semester, so can I get like a disc? Like, can I pay half of that? Because I'm not going to use it in the second semester. Like, no, absolutely not. That's our price. We don't have a per semester. We have a per year cost. It's just like little things like that. It's like, that that's just a cash cow. That parking lot has been paid for years, and every student that uses that. All 25,000 people that go to school here are paying $300 a year for this parking lot.
Well, I mean, let's think about the basics of it before you even walk into your college. You're 18. You go to a bank and say, hey, can you give me $50,000? I'm essentially a small business. And they say, yes, you can have this, but you can't default on these loans ever your entire life. You have to pay them no matter what, even if you defer them or like have to get like an income adjustment. You can never not pay. So you're telling me, I have this argument with my mom all the time because she wanted me to go to college. And I said, Mom, the banks in the higher education got together and said, we have to put this together. Why else would they agree to those standards? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Today, you couldn't go and say, hey, can I get a $500,000 mortgage? I make X amount of dollars.
I make $14 an hour. Can I get a $500,000 mortgage?
Because that's not going to happen. But yet they will shell out $200,000 for you to go to get a degree in underwater basket weaving or whatever, and just with nothing. You're not bringing in any money, and when you get done, you're not going to bring in any money.
Yeah,
because they just, like you said, you're never going to fall. And apparently they'll go after your kids, or your spouse or whoever in order to pay it.
Well, and the whole thing is, college would not cost thousands of dollars a year if the banks would not agree to those loans. Yeah. So if the bank was like $20,000 a year for a college, why would anyone do that? No, that's a bad loan. College would be essentially free or very low cost because the banks wouldn't sign up for it. But since they're both on it, of course, colleges are however many thousands of dollars a year.
Well, and two, so it's like our parents' generation, they could go to college for like $600 a year.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. They could literally work a minimum wage job and work their way through college.
And do half the credits and still get the same degree.
Yeah, and on top of that, their degree meant something because no one else was getting a degree. Yeah. So it was like this prestigious thing, and it set you apart and everything like that. So so what that did was it bred millions of people cramming it down their kids' throats from day one. Like, the only way you're going to get ahead in life is college. There's no other options.
Yeah.
Because what it did was both groups. It was the groups that got the degree that said, hey, the only way you're going to do anything is if you get this college degree. And then the other group that didn't get it, that was saying like, man, if we would have got this college degree, look how great we'd be doing. So now you have to get a college degree. And it's just like, so from day one, like kindergarten, they're telling you got to go to college.
Well, yeah, unless you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, something like that, all a degree tells an employer now is that you will be a sucker for 4 years. You will stick through something for at least 4 years, and they're like, for very minimal payback. That's all it tells an employer, is that this person won't quit after 4 years.
Well, okay. I think there's a little bit more that it does. I think that it shows. There's a little bit more. I think that it does show.
Travis is on my side.
I think there's a little bit that it does show. I think it will show that someone is committed.
Sure.
That they can hit a timeline.
Sure.
That they can work towards a goal and hit that goal. Right. I think it shows those attributes. Like if I were to hire people. I'm not saying like I would only want to hire college graduates, but I would look for that a little bit over some people that maybe started and finished. But what I honestly, if I had someone that had been in a certain type of like sales job for 4 years, and then somebody that went and got like a theater, like myself, theater degree, I would probably take that person that has 4 years of experience over the person that has no experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're going to spend less time training them to do the job that you want them to do.
Yeah.
You just would spend more time with a fresh college graduate. You just would.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like if they can catch on faster, get in the field faster, get clients faster, why would you not pick that person who has the 4 years?
Yeah.
they've already proven they can work that job for 4 years.
Welcome to my new podcast. Don't go to college.
Don't go to college.
Don't go to college. Start a podcast and then just keep going. Start a podcast, learn poker, something. You know what I mean? Do anything.
Do comedy.
Do comedy. There you go. And you'll be set up for life. Everything will be good for you. Don't worry. So, okay. So you made it us a year in college. We get it. You don't like college. I get it.
Yeah.
I liked college. There were parts of college that I really liked. What I didn't like was putting in all this effort for a grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because my first year out of college, and I was like working all these odd jobs and all this different stuff, I was like, I like so much better someone handing me money at the end of this
Of
than
course.
me getting a grade. But college was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure you had a great time.
You know,
yeah,
so
of course.
that's, you know,
No supervision for an 18-year-old, 19, 20? Yeah, of
it's
course.
like, and you think you're an adult, but you're not at all. There's no responsibility.
You're a shell of a human.
Yeah,
you are not a fully formed adult when
No.
you're 18, 19, 20.
I'm not pushing like major universities on my children.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have like the conversations like, do you know what you want to do at 18? Probably not, because does anybody really 100% know what they want to do at 18? No, you don't? Okay, cool. So you can go to this junior college or you can go work or whatever, but we're not going to like force you to get a communications degree.
Oh my gosh. That's the degree for athletes. Every athlete that like wants to finish college but is still trying to get into the pros, they all get communication degrees.
Or now they have general studies.
What is a general studies degree?
I don't know. But you'll hear like, you know, like on a football game, like they'll be like so-and-so, and then underneath it, they'll say like where their hometown is, and then they'll say their major general studies. So that's the one I see all the time now too.
Is that like a general admissions ticket to like a concert? Like you just can sit anywhere, you can do anything? Like what does that mean?
Like, what
Like,
classes did you take?
What?
I have friends that were my roommates in college were athletes. And all of my friends that were athletes that I was like really close to, they all have like legit degrees. I don't know how they were able to, like one's a lawyer.
Wow.
One is like a lot of them are in the oil and gas industry and they're like high up in it. And so I'm not really sure how they were able to handle both that.
Yeah.
And I went to OU, and the quarterback while I was at OU had like a finance degree and like had like a 3-point.
That's not easy.
No, yeah. But then everybody else was like, yeah, like one of my friends played football at Duke.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like, we were all real proud of him because he's like, that's the decision he made. He's like, I'm gonna go to Duke because like football's gonna run out one day, right? You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Duke. So I'm gonna go to like, and like then he in the classes he took at that school were like his first semester he took like biology of dinosaurs and like hip hop appreciation.
What? Did this guy pay $50,000 a year to learn about hip hop appreciation? This guy couldn't watch BET. Like, what is this? $50,000?
He didn't pay a dime. They paid him to go there.
Oh, he got a scholarship.
yeah, he was
too.
at a full ride.
Wow, he hacked the system.
So-
Good for him. You know what? I'm not even mad at him. That's hilarious. I love that.
And it's so funny. It's like I was like, man, that's so responsible that like because he had all these other colleges offering him. He's like, told us like I'm gonna go to Duke. He's like, that's like almost like an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be set up when I get out of school. And I was like, man, that's really smart. I was like, what do you want to study? I want to study business. I was like, okay, cool. And like a couple months later, we're talking to him like, what are you majoring? He's like, man, they don't have business. They don't have business.
I don't have
degree."
business. I'm dead. I'm dead.
I was like, I thought that was the whole plan. Like
So-
that's why you went there.
What was his degree then?
Sociology, I think. But he's very successful.
Oh, wow.
Like he's in real estate now, and like he's like really successful. He's like got one of those personalities like that
Is
he'll
he
be
single?
successful in anything. And now he's married.
Oh, dang.
His wife was on the podcast.
Shout out to whoever you are. Hope you're happy.
Yeah. His wife is who introduced me to my wife.
Oh, that's
So, yeah,
sweet.
so
Oh, I love that.
They're good friends of ours. But yeah, it's just like, you know, one of those things, like it's like a racket. Like he would talk about I won't say names of football players, but like one of my friends that I lived with at OU, he had a class with like a football player that's famous. Like he's famous. People know his name.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I won't say his name because I won't get the university in trouble.
Yeah.
And he goes, they were taking a class, and he's like, "Hey, what do you have there?" And the football player was like, "Oh, that's that's the review. You don't
Yeah.
he's like, this is the review. They give me this before every test. And my friend looked at it, he goes, this is the
These are the answers. Oh my God.
He goes, this is the test. And the guy was like, nah, man. He's like, you don't get this? Like, they give this to all of us.
Gosh.
And he goes, do you get this for every test? He goes, yeah, like we all do. And he goes,
wow.
Can I get a copy? He's like, absolutely, man. I got you. So it's just,
wow. That's wild.
it's one of these things where it's...
I'm not surprised, but...
Me neither. And honestly, I would do the same thing too.
Yeah, you got to keep your players playing.
Yeah. And
you got to.
Why do they make those guys even go to school? Like, it's really, really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to justify brain injury like right at the gate at 18. Like, you know, like you're like, we got to teach him something before it gets messed up. Like, you got to try. We got to try to teach him something.
Well, they just use those kids. Those universities make, like, not all of them, but like a
Sure.
school like Oklahoma, they make like...
Yeah, my family's real big into college basketball, so it's like, yeah, all the best players are one and done, and they, you know, they're not going to get a degree. Why? So if they're in their junior or senior year, if they get hurt, then they're out of the draft for the NBA. Like, and now they just stayed at this university to get some finance degree. I'm like, no, this person will make millions if they can get out in a year and go to. Why would you not?
Well, and then did you see that they just passed the NCAA, like the Supreme Court said that it was unconstitutional for not them to be able to make money off their name and likeness.
Yeah, so like I know they can get money for like jerseys and those types of things, and but everyone like the players were already getting paid. Like they were, because like my family's real big like UK basketball fans.
Oh yeah, those guys getting paid all day.
Yeah, they get paid all day. There's a lot of them who didn't come from, you know, the most money in the world, and they would be on campus driving really nice cars. And you'd be like, how did this person get a really nice car?
Well, I have heard, okay, more than likely it was because they got illegal money. But I have heard that there are some like dealerships that will give them a loan. Yeah. Because they know that this is them taking advantage of those kids. Like those kids are all getting taken advantage from all different sides. Sure. So like they're taking advantage of those kids and giving them like a terrible interest rate that they don't have to start paying on that loan until they get that NBA contract.
Yeah, of course.
So again, like Des Bryant, football player, played for Cowboys. He had like $2 million in debt to some jewelry store before he even got his first contract. Like
just because he wanted some bling?
I remember like the story came out. It was like a ring, like a necklace, a watch, like 4 engagement rings. Like, why are you buying 4 engagement rings?
You can't even have 4 wives. Like, what are you doing? What?
And again, just taking advantage of them because they know they're like, we'll get our money somehow. You might not get it this year, but we'll get it in a couple of years.
That's predatory.
Yeah,
that's
insane.
That's gross. That makes me feel bad for those people. Well, actually, no, fuck them. They're millionaires. So I don't feel that bad. But it's still, that's predatory.
Well, that's why I like that they could make money off their names now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, there's some guys, like, I remember, like, you know, I don't remember who it was, but he got suspended for like half a season because he was signing jerseys. And they were selling them on eBay. Yeah. And it's like, let him do that. Who cares? It's his autograph. Yeah. You know?
If anything, he should be worried about identity theft because now they have your signature. So if someone stole some of your identity, now they have a copy of your signature, they could do way worse than selling jerseys on eBay. Are you kidding me? Yeah. It's why the royal family can't sign autographs, is because they don't want people to steal their identity. So they won't let them sign autographs. Yeah.
Are you a big royal family person? Like, are you into all of that?
I'm not like into it as in like I support this. This should be an institution. I just like the drama. Like that's funny to me.
So like you get up early to like watch like the weddings or like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What was it recently? Was there a funeral or?
Well, that was Prince Philip's funeral, but I didn't watch that.
You didn't watch that?
No. I mean, it's just the drama is funny to me because I'm like, we're watching these debutantes and people are like, can you believe so-and-so had an affair? I'm like, yes, these people are billionaires. They've never been told no. Yes, I believe they've had affairs. Yes, I believe they're doing terrible things. Why would you think they aren't? Yeah, well, if you could get away with anything, why would you not do everything? Why would you not? Like, because you can. So of course these people are bad.
I don't pay attention that much to it. I mean, obviously I know a little bit. Like I know one of them is like one of the princes or duchess or whatever he is is not part of it anymore.
Sure, yeah.
Which one is it?
It's Harry.
Yeah. I listened to his podcast.
He has a podcast?
No, he was on on Dax Shepard's podcast.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
I didn't know
recently.
that. Oh, okay.
And so they don't really go so much into that, but they talk more about like mental health.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so I know that. I know he's out. But is he really out? Like, I mean, I'm sure he's still getting some kind of benefit.
Oh, I'm sure he gets something from the Crown. I don't know what. That's why you guys laughing. That's what it's called.
I'm sure he gets something from the Crown. Like, it's like,
please,
so-
me and the Queen, Madam Queen. No, I mean, I would guess probably it's still family. You're not gonna like let them like live in squalor. You know what I mean? And she's in. His wife was an actress. Like they have ties here and there.
they're
They're not. Yeah, they're not.
They're fine.
They're not gonna do
financially.
bad. Yeah.
I don't know. That stuff is. I mean, it's somewhat. It's just funny to me because it's like a fairy tale. I mean, it's
it
like
is.
legitimately something out of some book that you read as a kid.
They serve no purpose but like random engagements and doing some charity work, which is great, obviously, the charity work, but they don't make decisions for the country.
No.
They don't do any of that. They have a parliament. They literally serve no purpose besides like, I don't know, like tradition or heritage. I don't even know what you would call it. They serve zero purpose, basically.
Yeah. I don't understand why it still exists.
Because it's a $1 billion enterprise that would be very hard to dismantle.
Yeah,
That's why. Like
The
the
Crown would be very difficult.
Crown. We wouldn't have that Netflix show, honestly.
Did you watch that show?
Oh yeah, The Crown is a good Netflix show. You should watch it, even if you
Alright.
don't like the actual Crown. Like this Crown is a good show.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. I mean, I'll look into it. I get. It's not funny, is it? I don't like
No.
British humor, so anything that
it's
is
not
like
funny.
British humor, like don't. I
No,
don't, I
it's
can't-
serious. Yeah, it's real
Okay.
serious.
All right. Well, I'll take a look at The Crown on Netflix. Start. Who's? Do you know who the main characters are in it?
I don't know who the main actor.
Isn't it a lot about like Princess Diana?
Yeah, a lot of the seasons are like kind of focused around that era. So yeah, but it's good though. Like I like a lot of British dramas. Like I've been watching Peaky Blinders. Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I started an episode of it like a couple of years ago because
And
I
never-
heard it. Well, I just do that a lot. Like I start something, but it's
Yeah.
supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. It's, if people don't know, it's just English gangsters in the 1920s, like fighting with like the IRA and like other gangs and things like that. So it's interesting. I don't think it's like, it's loosely based on history. It's not, I don't think
Okay.
based on anything like super concrete. But
What type of shows were you into like growing up? Like, what
Mm.
was like your go-to show growing up?
as a kid, I was super into Animal Planet. Actually,
Okay.
I have a funny story about the Crocodile Hunter. I used to love that show as a kid, and when I was 19, I was nannying for a family.
Okay.
And there was reruns on one morning, and the little boy I was nannying was watching it, and he saw the Crocodile Hunter jump on a crocodile, and he goes, "Oh wow, Emily, that guy's crazy." And I was just like, "Oh, that guy's dead." Like I totally forgot I was talking to a child. I did not remember that. And then it was just a couple years after he passed, and the kid was like, he was 6 at the time, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, I was already at that point. I was like, I guess I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And he goes, "How did he die?" And I go, "Oh, a stingray stung him in the heart." And he was just like, "What?" Like this kid was shocked. But then a month later, we go to the Dallas Aquarium, and we're having a good time. And then we get to the stingray where you can pet them at that little exhibit. And I'm just like, "Come on, Preston, like, let's pet the stingrays. We're here at the aquarium." And he just goes, "I don't want to die." I scarred a poor little boy on accident. Yes. He thought, oh my God, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, this child's going to tell his parents I'm going to get fired.
I know.
Like, oh my
This is
gosh.
the worst day ever.
I know. Oh.
Oh, that's amazing. How long did you nanny for?
For like 3 or 4 years.
Did you like that?
It was easy. That was easy, but I didn't like staying at home and like, I don't know. I don't want to be a mom, so it's like, what was I going to talk to a kid about? Like, it wasn't anything I was passionate
Obviously
about.
not about stuff that you should have been.
It was just easy money.
Death, tax, like
Yeah,
don't go to
right.
college.
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
like,
don't get tattoos. Like, just really drilling.
all the things that you're not like. You don't want to go to college. People are
Yeah.
gonna die, and the aquarium is dangerous.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Animal Planet. What else were you into? What was?
I read a lot, actually. I still read a lot. I just
Okay.
wasn't like, I never had a TV in my room, and like I was always fighting for the TV with my siblings. That like I would just get frustrated and give up. So I would just honestly just like go in my room and like read books.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 5 sisters and a brother.
5 sisters and a brother.
Yeah.
What's the age
So
gap?
my oldest sister is a half sister, and she is 42.
Okay.
Or 43. 42 or 43, I don't remember. And then my brother is the youngest, and he's 25. So it's a pretty wide age gap amongst the siblings. But after like my half sister, you know, that my mom and that marriage ended, when she met my dad and they got married, then we all started popping out like a year and a half between each other.
You know, so your parents, and this is what I always think about it, like when like there's like a 42 to, you said 25, so
Yeah.
a 17-year gap.
Yeah.
So it's like your parents were like parents for like 30 something, like
Most of their lives.
yeah, like 30
legitimately.
years, like they had like kids in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. And my dad traveled all the time, so he was like hardly ever home. So it was like my mom, just one person raising 7 kids.
Good
like
Lord.
I know it's
That's
too
it,
much.
like, your mom deserves all the things.
I bet she does.
Like,
yeah,
like the best Mother's Day cards. Like
she put up with a
trips.
lot. Yeah, it taught me a lot. It was wild. It wouldn't be something I would do.
Is that why you don't want to have? You said like a couple minutes ago that you don't want to be a mom. Is it from seeing that, or just like other things?
No, I just never I never felt it within me. Like I feel like when you have things that you really want out of your life, you kind of think about them consciously or unconsciously throughout your day. Like just in your any day-to-day life. Like you think about like, oh, it would be nice to settle down, or oh, it would be nice to have a kid at whatever point. I just never think about kids like that. So I'm like, if I really wanted it, I would be thinking about those things.
Yeah, makes
Like,
sense.
I think about who I'm going to work with on the road, how I'm going to fix this joke. Like I think about all those types of things all throughout the day because that's what I want. So otherwise, you know, I just don't think about kids that way. And plus, being a female comedian, I would have to find a partner who was okay staying home, being the stay-at-home parent while I would go on the road. And
Yeah.
that's still kind of hard to find.
And like you would have to take. I mean, even from like the aspect of that, like you would have to take like so many months off.
Yeah,
once you
to
had-
recover from having a baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't fly after, I think they don't want you to fly like from the beginning of your 3rd trimester.
Yeah, so that's
So it's like-
3 months right there, and then you know you're gonna stay home with the baby for
Yeah.
2 or 3 months, however long you
Yeah.
stay home.
So it would be a lot of time. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
not getting paid. Of just because
Not
there's
getting paid and just not being able to go up, like not getting able to do anything. you know,
nothing. Yeah.
of you just hanging out with that baby, because
I
that
know.
is
Oof.
all you. I mean,
I believe because you have how many kids do
I
you
have
have?
2 kids. I
Yeah.
have 2 dogs. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so when like that 7-year-old, the first one, we watched so much TV. Like that's all we did. Like it was just
Yeah.
like, and because you're up at all these weird hours. Actually, no, you know what? I think I might have watched more TV with the younger one because she doesn't. Still to this day, she's a bad sleeper, and so that first like year of her life, we pretty much just took turns holding her while she slept.
Because that's the only way she would sleep.
Yeah, while the other one would go sleep.
Oh wow.
So it's like you would, I mean, there were nights where I would spend until about like 2 a.m. on the couch holding her, and I would just be
Yeah.
like crushing TV, and then I would be like, all right, and then I'd go to my wife, and like my poor wife's like having to feed her, having to do all, like,
Sure.
I
yeah.
think it was hard on me. I didn't do
You weren't breastfeeding.
No, I wasn't
yeah.
doing like a quarter of the things that she was doing. Like,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
my wife, when she was on maternity leave with her, like she wanted to be held so much that like my wife couldn't even take like it would be hard for her to take showers. Like she'd have to,
Oh
like,
my
'cause she, like,
gosh.
you know, like she was just like,
Sure.
Yeah,
The baby
and-
would get upset. Yeah.
yeah. And my oldest wasn't like that. My oldest
Sure.
was, yeah, she wanted to be held and everything like that, but not to the level at all. And it's funny, they're still both. My youngest is still similar. Like she wants to be held. She wants to
Aw,
like
that's
hold your
sweet.
hand, everything
Yeah.
like that. Like my oldest likes that, but not to the same level at all. It's like
Aw.
it hasn't changed, you know. So I get it, you know. If kids aren't for you, I think that, you know,
Yeah.
don't have kids.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about it. It's like I imagine how many people have kids, and then they're like, "Oh wait, I don't know if this was actually for me." But then they have the kids, so it's like
Yeah.
you're kind of like, and you can't not form your entire life around the child. You're raising a child,
Yeah.
so everything you wanted to do gets put to the side, and it's. maybe I'm just being selfish. I just don't want to put my things to the side.
I don't think you're being selfish. I think you know what you want.
Yeah.
I think that, like, for me, you said you never thought about, that was something that you ever wanted. For me, it was from a young age. Like, I had, like, career goals, like, things that what do you want to be when you grow up? But, like, also one of the things for me was, like, I want to be a husband and a dad. So, like, those were things I thought about.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that, like, society puts that on people. Like, you have to have... It's the same thing, like, with the college thing. Like, you have to... It's like, go to college, get married, have a baby.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with, like, people going their own, like, different routes.
Yeah.
We don't need everybody to have kids.
Well, that's true.
Like, that's the bottom line.
And also, it's just an interesting life because no one really knows how to deal with you when you don't have kids and you don't have a spouse and you can kind of just like move around and do whatever. And people are like, oh, you're staying out late? I'm like, yeah, no one's asking for me to come home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just living my life. And sometimes they're like, oh, I couldn't do it. And then sometimes they're like, I wish I could stay out too. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
I think like any like snide remarks you might get, that's just jealousy coming out of them.
Yeah. But I'm like, well, now you have a retirement plan. You have 2 kids that should take care of you, and if they don't, like,
and they can. And
that's
they'll
on
pay
you.
your student loans,
I hope so. Yeah, that's why you have kids.
Because those loans ain't going away.
God.
Those student loans are not going away. We learned. So okay. So name of my podcast is called Back in the Day. All right. So I focus on like a different topic each season. This season I'm talking about like first jobs experience.
Yeah.
What was the first job that you ever had?
Firehouse Subs.
Firehouse Subs.
Yep. I worked at Firehouse Subs in the Frisco Square. Yeah.
In like Main Street area?
Yeah, that Main Street area where they have those lights with the buildings and for the Christmas time. Yeah, in that area there's a firehouse. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been back.
I'm sure it is.
But
you haven't been back?
No.
How long did you work there for?
I worked there for 2 years.
Did you like it?
It was okay because I had some older coworkers who would like buy me liquor and stuff. So it's like that was cool because I could go out and party with my friends and I always had a liquor hookup. But I mean, no, besides that, I was just making sandwiches. Yeah, it was fine. It was okay. But
is that like, okay, so would you say like the majority of your friends had jobs kind of like that? Where,
absolutely.
Like food jobs?
Yeah, I mean, we're high school students. There wasn't much else we could do.
Okay. So Firehouse Subs, you did that for 2 years. You have like a story about like either getting fired from a job or like quitting inappropriately?
Yes. I quit Firehouse Subs over text message because I was supposed to work the 4th of July and I already had plans with my friends. And my manager was just this dickhead he had his own problems, but he was one of those people that would like take it out on like the people below him at the job. And I was just like, whatever, fuck you, Aaron. Like, I'm not coming in tonight. He's like, are you serious not coming in tonight? I was like, no, you fucking work. And I just quit. Yeah.
Do you know whatever happened to Aaron? Is Aaron still at Firehouse Subs?
I have no idea.
Man, I hope Aaron is like a franchise. No, I don't hope he's a franchise owner. I hope Aaron's still at that same Firehouse Subs, just being a dick.
I would love that. That would be hilarious to me. I know he had a couple kids and that he was working there to help support while his wife went to college. That's all I knew.
Oh, well, maybe I don't.
But if you met them.
Well, maybe he had a lot of. Okay, wait, we're gonna.
like maybe he was under a lot of stress.
Maybe he was going through some shit. Okay, he's putting his wife through college. He's got a couple kids. He's got to deal with like teenage employees.
Sorry, I'm in my poking a raw nerve.
Look, all right, Aaron, if you're out there, I hope like things are working out for you. Maybe not. Maybe you were a dick. We don't know. So, were you not supposed to work 4th of July and like they scheduled you? And that's why
it was
you quit?
something along those lines that like they wanted me to come in and told me I had to or something like that. And I think they just wanted to get off or whatever, which is, I get it. But I was just like, nah, dude, I'm not coming in. I'm good.
I hate those jobs like that where like they try to act like it's like such a huge deal. It's like, I'm 17. I don't care. Like, no one is taking this job this seriously. Like, calm down.
I'm like, you're not giving me benefits. Why would I give a shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm making $7.50 an hour.
I'm making sandwiches.
Yeah.
This isn't my life. Like, why are you acting like it's such a big deal?
Right.
I worked at like at a Hollywood Video when I was in college.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
It was the same way like that. They would always they gave me the work. I quit the same way you quit, like the exact same way.
Just called in.
like from the parking lot.
Yeah.
From the
hell yeah.
from the parking lot of the place. There was this party I wanted to go to. I
Yeah.
was on the phone bitching to my mom about the job, and like she was like, "How many more weeks of school do you have?" And I was like 2 weeks. She's like, "How much money will you make in that amount of time?" I was like, $180. She's like, if I send you $200, will you can like so I can stop hearing about this? And I was like, yes, I will. I was like, you're telling me I can quit my job? And she's like, yeah, you can quit your job. So
hell yeah. That's a good mom. Yeah.
She's like, I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. She's like,
Like,
she's like, if I don't have to take another Excedrin migraine today, like that's fine.
to hear you bitch about Hollywood
I
Video.
love that. That's a good parent. My parents would never let me quit. I just quit and then didn't tell them and then got another job.
What did you do? What was the job after that? Subway?
No, which switched to a different sandwich place because I had a friend who actually worked there and it was like much cooler. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'll just do that. They told me they'd hire me and I didn't have to work with that asshole.
And then I could see like which being better because like you don't really have to interact with the customers, right? They just write what they want on a piece of paper.
On that thing, and then on the clothesline they bring it out. Yeah, it was.
I could see that would be way better than.
Oh yeah, I became a manager there at one point. I think because
Oh,
I was still
shit.
going to community college when I was working there for a while, but then I quit that job too. I don't remember where I went after that, but I remember I quit that job.
When you were manager.
Yeah,
What were like the responsibilities of a witch manager?
just making sure that they cleaned up right at the end of the night and that the drawer wasn't short. Like that was
That
really it. Like
You
it was
had to-
just.
did you have to make the schedule or anything?
No. I wasn't that level of manager.
Oh,
They had like
okay.
a store like GM or something that did that. I wasn't. I was like a team lead or something that's
Okay.
like a mid where they trusted me enough to close,
Mm-hmm.
but and like to count the drawer, but I wasn't doing anything else besides that.
Did you manage people that were older than you, or were they all like your age range?
Yeah, they were like my age, maybe a few years older max, but they were it was all like young people.
Man, I had to when I was 20. I did shows at Six Flags.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
Comedy shows?
not comedy. Well, okay. You know, like the have you ever been to Six Flags?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how like they have like the comedy gunfight shows
Yeah.
on that little like little fake courthouse thing that they have.
Yeah.
So I did shows there for 2 summers while I was in college, and I was 20, and I was like the manager of the
Yeah.
actors, and like I mean those dudes were like 40. It was like a
Really?
yeah. So it was like a weird like dynamic of like telling 38, 40-year-olds like, hey, we today because but my only role as manager was
Yeah.
to cast the show each day and to assign who was doing laundry and to and turn in some piece of paper that I had to fill out every day, and that was it. Right? It wasn't like that big of a deal, but sometimes it did get like because you're dealing with actors, especially 40-year-old actors that are doing that
Bitter.
like,
Upset.
yeah, or whatever. Like, and we all played every role. So,
Yeah.
like, we would rotate out, and so sometimes you get people that are upset about what role they're playing that day.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
dude, you're gonna. First of all, it's not that big of a deal. We're doing 6 shows a day, the entire summer, and you're playing every role. You're gonna get to play every role multiple times.
It's 100 degrees outside.
exactly. Like,
you're
it's-
complaining about what.
Yeah,
No.
it's not that big of a deal. But the only time that I ever had like a big argument,
Yeah.
this guy like was mad about something. I told him he had to like come in. Or I don't remember what I was getting on to him about. I was like, you can't do that anymore. Blah blah blah. We can't have that happen. And it was his day to do the laundry.
Yeah.
And he threw the laundry at me. And he goes, "You do the laundry, bitch boy." Like I was like, oh, this is
Wow. He was just like, you're cool. You're cool.
Yeah,
Fuck
like-
you. Wow.
Hey, that's your only job here is to do the laundry, bitch boy. And I was like, easy guy or whatever. Like we almost came to blows about it. And the awkward thing was him and I carpooled. So we had to like
I'm dead. You had to get into the car like an angry married couple and drive home together. Oh no.
this guy I liked him a lot, but he would every like once every like 3 or 4 weeks he would snap. Like there was this one day where we were driving to work,
Okay.
and he would always have to get coffee before we would leave. And one day he spilt water, or he spilt the coffee on my truck floorboard, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you would think I would be the one that's upset. Like, you just spilled coffee all over my car, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's gonna smell. It's gonna be whatever. And he is flipping out. But you know, like sometimes, like your seatbelt locks and you
Yeah.
can't lean.
You can't
over.
reach for anything.
So
Yeah.
he's trying to like pick it up before it completely all spills, and he's like. And he's like, no! he's like, no! And I'm like, and he starts just punching the side of the door.
What?
Just screaming and I'm just like,
what a loop.
We can get you more coffee. Like, I don't know.
This is my truck. Don't ruin my truck. Yeah. That
shut
reminds me of, have you ever seen those dogs chained up outside when you walk by and they try to like jump at you and they just like keep getting their like collar cut? Like, that's that guy. 100%. Like, he is so mad at something he won't be able to do anything about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what?
I can still picture him just like moving violently towards the cup and getting stuck on the seatbelt.
Now, was this guy using illicit substances? Because
No.
that is such a hair trigger reaction to like spilling coffee. I'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry, dude, didn't mean to spill coffee in your car. I wouldn't like have a mental breakdown because of the coffee. Like,
It was awesome. And I loved that guy. It was just like, there was just like these random moments that would happen all the time. Like, I talked to him every now and then still, like, and that was like 14 years ago.
I love the egos of a Six Flag actor. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh gosh, I couldn't imagine being like, I can't believe they made me play Esmeralda today.
Like, I will not play bad guy number 2.
I know. Oh my gosh. To be the spouse of that person when they come home and having to listen to that, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That's hell on earth. I wouldn't do that.
I don't think there were any spouses.
That's probably why he's so angry. Probably, honestly.
I don't think there were any spouses. It was, yeah, the ego of that. There's ego. Any type of acting, there's always like huge egos.
Really?
Yeah. So I had like an agent when I first got out of college, because that was like the goal, was to like work as an actor, you know, and then I didn't do it. And then I had that for a couple years, and then I stopped doing it. And then I got my agent again like 3 years, same agent like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first audition that I went on, I'm just like watching all these people, and I text my wife, I was like, I hate actors.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I did not miss this at all.
I have never done acting. I've never had the desire to act. I personally don't understand the appeal of it. I don't like saying lines that I didn't write. I don't like doing what other people want me to do. That's just me being stubborn.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do everything myself. And I know acting is like a big collaboration. So I good for you. I just can't do it. Like,
Well,
that to me.
the thing is that anything that you're doing in Dallas, for the most part, that you're like an agent will send you on,
Yeah.
it's not acting.
Yeah.
It's a commercial. So there's nothing that is like, I mean, you're going to go and like you're going to act out something they ask you to do.
Sure.
So that's what's always so funny to me, is like how serious everyone's taking it. Like, they're just like, I don't know if like there was this one, I did this one commercial, like, and it was like, we were like background
Yeah.
when I first got back, because like my agent was like, just go do it, stuff, like get your feet back wet, like being on the set again. And so I like went and did it, and like I was listening to these actors talk on the set, and then I was like, I just don't know what my character's motivation would be to like walk around. And I'm like texting my wife, and I'm like, you don't like telling her everything. Like, the person says, like, there is no motivation. You're not a character. You're a piece of furniture. Like, you're nothing. Like, they can't even see you.
This is a Chase Bank commercial. What do you think the
Yeah.
motivation is? That is hilarious.
Yeah.
The motivation behind the character to get paid,
Yeah,
to do well enough to get paid.
To make
That's
your
it.
$400 that you're making today and
Yes.
go home. No one can see you. You're not the principal. Like, and even if you were the main character in it, you don't. There's no character development that's happening. There's gonna be a director sitting behind this stuff. The client's gonna be in the other room watching it. They're gonna tell you every movement they want you to make, because that's how commercials are.
Sure.
Like, literally, there's someone that's directing it, and then the client is in the other. Sometimes they're actually in the room with you, but a lot of times they're in another room watching it on a monitor. And they will be like, I don't like the way that he smiled at that. Can you have him do another take?
Sure.
And have him like do a half smile. So you're not making any choices. It's not.
Yeah.
You're not in a film.
Yeah.
You're in a
There's no creative liberties
Yeah,
for
it's a
this commercial.
You're selling yourself out for $1,500.
Oh, I mean, I would sell myself for $1,500, but to say I need to develop a character,
Yeah.
no.
There's no character.
I'm not that delusional.
No,
That's
not
crazy.
at all. So yeah, Six Flags actors though. I think that's the only time in my life that someone's ever called me bitch boy. Like, I mean,
Bitch boy.
legit threw laundry at me and says, "You do it, bitch boy."
Well, I love those moments between men because I'm like, what is going to happen next? Because what was this guy's stature compared to yours? Because what, you're like 6'1"?
Yeah, I'm like
6'2"?
6 foot, like.
Okay.
And he was, I mean, decent sized guy. Like, both of us were like in good shape. Like, at that point, like.
That could have been a fight. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, when someone calls you bitch boy, I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I guess you got to fight now.
Yeah.
Like, I guess. But that you didn't fight on the.
No, I think I just like, I'm really good at like noticing, like, I can tell there's like a temper tantrum and like someone that's like trying to like fight me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
true. Yeah.
He was throwing a temper tantrum and I wasn't gonna, and we're at work. I'm not going to escalate. I did though on that set of that, of rehearsals for that show, did like almost get in a physical altercation with the director of that and like the owner of that.
A Six Flag director.
Well,
my God.
was-
Does this get better and better?
No, he
Can we
didn't.
make this into a sitcom? This would be hilarious. A bunch of theme park actors fighting. Oh my God. Okay, we need to write this.
Yeah, so-
Write that shit down.
First of all, he didn't work for Six Flags. None of us actually worked for Six Flags. We worked for another company that Six Flags hired.
Okay.
That's important. Six Flags never gave me a check. But the director of it, real nice guy. I don't know why he pissed me off one day when we were in rehearsals, because he was like, he got in my face and he was like, "That's not the emotion that you want. What would you do if someone did that to you?" Right? And so, like, he said it. He's like, "No, do it right." He's like, "No, show me what you would do." So I grabbed him by the collar and I like kind of like, I was like, "That's what I would do." And like we got like face to face. It's like, I said, "Show me." I was like, I did show you. He's like, "No, not." And he was really mad because I grabbed him. But that was the only time that there was something that I got physically into it.
That itself is a hilarious scene. Could you I would love to imagine little 6-year-olds holding their parents' hands, being like, "Mommy, what are the actors doing?" And she's like, "Let's just go get some cotton candy."
Yeah,
These people,
like, we'll
one
get
of them is tweaking out right now.
One of them dropped their coffee earlier,
I know.
and he's really mad.
That is so funny. That is hilarious
Well,
to
to
me.
paint the picture better, and I think it's funnier than there being guests there. There was no guests there. It was like 7 a.m. before Six Flags even opened.
It's not even early enough to be mad. Like that, I don't have that kind of energy at 7 a.m. What am I mad about?
Someone gets in your face. You
gotta grab them by the collar.
I guess so. You got called bitch boy the day before. Like,
Those
things are happening.
The microcosms of those like mini communities is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so funny.
We had another guy in that cast that he would just like. He left to go we weren't supposed to leave. We could leave to go get like lunch or something like that, because we did 6 shows a day.
Sure.
And so they were like kind of like back to back to back almost.
Yeah.
And he left during the day to like go get something from his house and got arrested.
For what?
I forgot about all of this until
He got arrested?
Yeah, he got arrested. And so the owner of the company calls me and he was like, "Hey man, like so got arrested." I go, "What are you talking about? What do you mean he got arrested? He left like 17 minutes ago." He's like, "He got arrested. You're going to have to do the last 2 shows down a person."
Oh my God. They're like, "We're not going to have a Peter Pan.
Yeah.
You got to figure this out." Like, what? So he had to have had warrants.
Yeah, I think
couldn't.
he had a warrant or something out for him and he got pulled over. And so, but the best about it, Emily, is, can you imagine?
Was he in a costume? Was this man in a costume?
Can you imagine being 40 years old or however old he was?
A Six Flags actor.
In a holding cell.
Oh my God.
In full cowboy garb from the 1800s. And I hope, I don't know if he did or not. I hope he had his holster on. Like, I hope there was like
because that was in Six Flags. Where was that at? Arlington?
in Arlington.
The Arlington County Jail.
Right.
Oh my god.
At like 3 p.m., people be like, "What the fuck are you into?" You know,
I know,
It's like,
right? Like, are you Crip? Are you Blood? No, I'm in the gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the. Oh my god, that is
I'm old.
so
I'm Wild
funny.
Wild West. Like, you know,
Clearly,
just like-
yeah.
So yeah, I forgot about that. Like, so we just finished the day off with like one actor down, and we just changed the show up.
Oh my
to where
god, that's so
whatever
funny.
role he was playing, we just.
What
kinda
happens? Did he
combined.
come back and when he was like, "Hey, I got arrested"? Like, he didn't tell you guys what happened?
I don't really remember 100%. I mean, it was a warrant thing. Now that I think about it, like he
Yeah.
just got pulled over like a speeding ticket. Like, it wasn't a big deal. It's not
Yeah.
like, you know, like did something like while he was gone.
I was hoping for a good story. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, did he like get in like a high speed chase? Like, that would be sick.
No, it was something just, you know, got pulled over or whatever.
Oh
but
my
just getting
God.
that phone call of like being like, so and so got arrested, and me being like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
he's-
it doesn't register.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, 30 minutes later after he left, we had a show in 30 minutes. Like, we had an hour break. He was like, I'm just going to run to my house, go pick this thing up. I'll be right back. Okay, cool, man. Whatever. Go do your thing. And,
Oh my god, could you imagine being the cop pulling this guy over?
yeah, I know. Being like,
Going to arrest him in the 1800s cowboy guard.
or if like, I wish, because, you know, like, and like, you probably don't, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but like all those shows, there's always like a marshal, a deputy, and 2 bad guys. That's how the show
Oh
is.
my god.
I don't know if he was playing a bad guy or a marshal. I hope he was wearing a marshal badge.
Oh my god. A cop arresting a fake cop. A cop arresting a fake cop. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking hilarious. The look on that guy's face to be like,
Yeah.
I mean, you got a warrant.
Yeah,
Like,
what do I
mean,
do? It's like, me, surely, I'm from the 1800s. Like, he stays in character.
I would like call a judge, but like, is it still valid? Like, I don't know how old this guy is.
What is this machine I'm driving? Like, you know,
Oh my god.
this isn't a horse. He just like stay like
God.
he's method, so he's like all into it.
That would be freaking hilarious. Oh,
Yeah, those were some fun 2 summers.
It sounds like it, honestly. I mean, Six Flags would be hell on earth to work during the day, like outside, like
Yeah.
literally hell on earth. But yeah, if I could see people's like crazy egos from like doing random like plays that they didn't even write, anything that they're not actually involved in, they're just cashing a check because they're part of a cast. You mean a group? Like they like that is crazy to me.
Well, to me, it was like a great college job.
Oh, I
because
believe that. Yeah.
I'm doing like acting or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made like, for like a summer acting job, I made good money. I made like, I mean, more money than I would have made of doing any job that I was doing.
Wow.
The summer
Yeah.
before that, I did summer stock theater,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically where you just live there for the entire summer, and they treat you like an indentured servant. Like they pay you. Like I made $150 a week.
Wow, that's
And
nothing.
Yeah, I made $150 a week, and me and 2 other people were the highest paid people on the, like, because we were the main characters. And so we made $150 a week, and they paid our room and board, but we worked like 50, 60 hours a week.
So they basically just paid you for like groceries and some gas,
Yeah.
like for your off night. Like what?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, there was no off days.
you
it was
worked
like-
every single day.
Yeah, especially the first, like, when we were, like, in rehearsals, we would work from, like, 9 a.m. to, like, 6 p.m., and then we would come back at nighttime after we go to dinner, and then we would do Saturday, Sunday rehearsals, too, like, half the day. And then once the show started running, we didn't have much to do during the week because our shows were, like, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday. It's like Monday, Tuesday we were off. And they implemented some rule like where they're like, they call it like the 12-hour rule, where if we left like at 8 o'clock, the earliest we could come back was 8 o'clock. We had to be gone for 12 hours because we were starting to like bitch about it.
Oh, so they were like, "Oh, you want to leave? You can leave." Like
They were
for
like-
12 hours.
They're like, they call it like the 12-hour rule or
Cool.
something.
I have $3. I'll go see.
Yeah.
I'll go see a double feature at the Dollar Cinema. Like that's all you could do. Like what are these?
So the next summer, I was making $100 a day.
Oh, well, that's
So
nice.
I was
Fuck
like,
yeah.
heck yes, your boy's rich.
Oh my God.
Compared to that. And so
Yeah.
Six Flags is where it was at.
Oh,
You know,
gosh.
and that's how a lot of those summer stock theaters are. Like any friends that I had that did it over the summer, like different places. I mean, they're making a couple $100 a week at best, and they live there all summer. And they like put you, like we were in a dorm. Is where we lived.
dorm?
Yeah,
Nah,
because
man.
there was a college that was next to it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then we lived in the college, and then we did this like dinner theater. And I don't know how much money they made in it because the play that we were doing was about the town that we were in.
Ooh,
It
so
wasn't
not-
about the town. It was a true story. It was actually a really cool story. Okay, I'll tell you the story real quick. It's
Okay.
actually really cool. So it was called The Great Santa Claus Bank Robbery. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
And so in the 1920s, there were people were robbing banks like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so like one of the last like big bank robberies was this robbery that took place in Cisco, Texas.
Okay.
And so the main bank robber, Marshall Ratliff, which was the character I played, dressed up as Santa Claus 2 days before Christmas and robbed this bank. Okay. But all these things went wrong. So they didn't have any gas in their getaway car.
Wow.
Okay. And then so they stole another car to get it. Well, that got a flat tire. They ended up like killing someone on the way because like when they were trying to get away. So they turned this like horrible event, and it was like this known thing. Like people had written books about it. It was like, cause it was like one of the last like bank robberies like that had happened in the state of Texas. Marshall Ratliff, he goes to jail in that town. He escapes, and in the process, he kills a deputy when he escapes the jail. Okay, so the townspeople get him back into the jail somehow. So they get tired of it. So they break down the door. They break down the jail cell. They pull him out and they hang him themselves. So he's the last like public lynching in the state of Texas, like that character that I played. But they turned it into a musical comedy.
A musical comedy.
So, like,
yes.
And so it was this like
a musical comedy about a lynching.
yeah.
We live in
one
the
of
South, everyone.
One of the
If you
songs
didn't
was
know by
called
now.
"We Want a Hanging." Like
We want a hanging.
Yeah, like absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God. These people have the best sense of humor.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, because you can't feel bad about it anymore, I guess, because this happened, what, like 100 years
and
ago?
and it
like,
wasn't like.
It wasn't-
It wasn't racial. Like it was.
I
like,
believe
yeah,
that you said it wasn't like racially motivated.
It wasn't
was-
racially motivated. It was, they were hanging a criminal murderer, and they were tired of the justice system taking forever. So the people in the town
got their vigilante justice.
and they went and killed them themselves. And like the lyrics of the song, if I remember, like "We want a hanging, we want it right now," or something like that. Like
God.
he killed 2 officers or something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like that. But yeah, we did that show.
What town was this in again?
Cisco, Texas.
Where is that? I don't know.
You know where Abilene's at?
Yeah.
It's like 45 minutes from Abilene.
So middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
like
If you
almost West Texas, kind of like right there on that gap of it. And so since that show was about the town, we sold out all the shows in like an hour. And then they had to add more shows to it.
How many people are in this town? I've never heard of this town.
People were coming
Like,
from all over.
Oh
like
my
from
God.
all over those little towns that were in that area. Because they'd all heard about it. So like people would come up to me after the show and they'd be like, "My daddy was the such and such kid that blah 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 that was somehow related to the show." Like, or the story, like my grandfather was the he owned the cop car that caught Marshall Ratliff. It was just like this this folk story that from around the town that everybody wanted to be part of.
Oh my God.
It was an interesting summer.
That is wild. Things are not like that in Kentucky at all. They don't have any. I don't have any lynching stories.
No, you don't. I'm sure there's.
They have weird shit. Like the town next to us, their mayor's a dog. That's the only
What? Wait, no. You said you don't have any like crazy stories. No lynch. Okay, there's a lot more lynching stories, and there are people that are like, yeah, I mean, nothing weird happened. The town next to me, the mayor's just a dog. What?
The dog's name is Gwyneth Paltrow, and that's a dog's name. And they have a general store. This is how small this town is next to the town I lived in. They just apparently were tired of the corruption in the Council of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky.
Okay.
That they're like, we're not going to have one leader of the city. We're just going to have this dog that's a mayor. And this dog wanders free, goes wherever it wants, like just hangs out at the general store. Like people know that dog, like, oh, that's the mayor. They literally elected a dog as a mayor.
Did he go unopposed or did someone run against him? Because I
don't think they have. I literally think this dog is still there. I do not think that they have an actual mayor. Like they just have a dog. I know that like someone like almost like hit it one time when they were driving. And it made the news.
Well, of course it did. Anything that the mayor dog does is gonna make the news. Like if the mayor dog shits in someone's yard, that's making the news. Like you like say like, oh my god, the mayor shit in my yard. Can you imagine like you telling other people like you're telling your family that doesn't live there and be like, oh my god, you're not gonna believe it, the mayor shit in my yard this afternoon, and they're like, what?
Oh
the
my
mayor?
God.
Well, yeah, it's a dog, but okay. Well, wait, hold on. It's a dog.
We talk about it all the time. We'll tell people on purpose just to see their faces because it's so funny. Because like our family, like we're from there, like we know. But like if we tell people, we're like, oh yeah, this town next to us their mayor's a dog, and they're like, where are you from? Like they're like, do you have an education? Like,
Yeah,
how old are you?
Where does Kentucky rank in like public education?
Bottom of the barrel, where we fish. Just very not good. Just you could convince us of anything. This
What
not
kind of
great.
dog is it?
I think it's like a collie or a shepherd or something like that. It's like a bigger dog. It's not like a small dog. Something like
Well,
that.
that's good. At least it's like.
I mean, it's like a girl, so I'm like, okay, I love a woman in office.
But of course, it's a dog.
I'm like,
of course,
I know. It's very much like Claire from what's that? House of Cards. Like she's like in charge now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. A dog mare.
You've said three things so far today that like you said them so nonchalant, but they needed to be paused. Like when you were like, yeah, because I'm never been really good on the tilt or whatever, like those comments, and then you're like, yeah, because I mean that's just the way the crown works or whatever, and then you just threw away the lines like nothing weird happened in Kentucky. I mean there was this town next to us that had a dog as a mayor.
It's so bad. I have the worst habit of always assuming people just know what I know.
Yeah,
and it's like I just know dumb shit for no reason, and then people are like, Emily, that's not useful. I'm like, oh, sorry, what? Like, oh, I thought this was funny. I loved it.
Oh my god. All right, so I'm gonna ask you one last question.
Sure.
Okay, so comedy can't be the answer. Okay, all right. So if money wasn't a thing, time wasn't a thing, like time commitment or anything, what's the one thing you would want to do as a job that besides comedy?
Besides comedy, I would probably, I always loved animals, from like what I told you. I would either want to be a zookeeper or I would want to work for this charity that I donate to called Canine Partners for Life. Mm-hmm. They like train specialty service dogs for people with disabilities. So like you sign up and you like, they have all these like really cool specialty trainers and such a good program and I love it. And I was like, oh, if I didn't have to like worry about paying for anything and I wasn't doing comedy, I would love to do that. That would be like the most rewarding work is to just train dogs for people who really need them.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, I have a little dog. His name's Morty.
Morty?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Where can people find you?
I mean, you can find me on any Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just at Emily Grefer, Grefer. I just try to keep it pretty simple.
Okay. Your episode will probably come out the end of July. You got anything you want to plug?
End of July, I'll be in Waco at the new Slapsticks comedy that's opening up there.
Okay.
And then So I'll be there at the end of July, and then in August, the week of the 24th, I'll be at Hyenas Fort Worth with Jeff Dye. So
Okay.
that's where I'll be. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, guys, make sure you check out Emily. Follow her on Instagram, on Facebook. Go see her live when you get the opportunity. You can follow me on Instagram at HeHeMikeP or check out michaelpasvar.com. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Back